Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Kelrodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'll be talking about the movies, of course, TV shows, merchandising, theme parks, I don't know, whatever the case may be. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, of course I'll be talking about it. So, I'll be talking about another direct-to-video type thing, even though technically they didn't make this, but she did start many of their stuff, I guess, merchandising. Anyway, yes, gonna be a mermaid fairy type thing, I guess. And yeah, and even though it actually was also titled as this, which makes things confusing when you think about it. Oh, come on, Rogue Agent Kilroden. I bet you're a fairy, huh? Is that what it is? Okay, first of all, take the dick out of your mouth before speaking to me. I can't really hear you all that well. Anywho, let's go back to what I was saying. So, okay, this was actually a sequel to another animated film, which I already reviewed a while back, by the way. Anywho, so, okay, I just thought I was just talking about this animated film, so it just took me a while to talk about the second part, so here we are, I reckon. But anyway, this film premiered on Nickelodeon on March 5th of 2006, and it was later released on VHS tape on and DVD on March 14th of the same year. So there you go, folks. Oh, yeah. Also, this was the last Barbie movie in the franchise to be released on VHS tape in the United States. The movie was later re released to have its own original DVD bonus features removed, by the way. And it was also the first sequel in the franchise for Barbie because typically it was standalone movies, as in standalone stories. Well, technically, they still did that in some other cases afterwards, but it's just kind of surprising because I know a lot of people criticize this doll, more like bashing, because for looking too attractive, because those lips, that nose, that overall shape of the head and the waist somehow meant she had like this impossible standard of beauty. Like what? Yet this direct-to-video series became one of the most profitable franchises out there. So there you go. So if anything, the controversy around this doll actually helped it out. Kind of ironic when you think about it. It's stupid anyway. It seems like all the body positivity. I always found that to be awfully hypocritical in a lot of ways. How is it that that only applies to if you're like extremely obese or at least borderline obese? And then when it comes to someone that's actually in decent shape or in great shape or somewhere in between that, people just get mad. Oh, you send a bad message to women and whatnot. You're trying to shame their bodies. But then you turn around and say if someone's too fat, if they're obese or almost obese, you get on your case, which I never understood really. I mean, okay, I don't want to be too much on this really. I'm just throwing it out there. It's just funny that kind of weird. When you think about it. I mean, the same kind of thing happened with the Disney princess characters because they said the exact same thing, which again I found kind of weird when you think about it. Oh, and yes, this has been a topic that's been discussed before with other individuals online, where a woman will look attractive and she'll get a bunch of hate just for that alone. Like, what? Awfully hypocritical, don't you think? If you're ugly, you should get bashed on, but it's okay to be extremely overweight, though, and be really unhealthy. Oh, okay. Ugh, dumb. Oh, come on, Rogue Agent Killer, what then? Are you trying to say that I can't play archery and do something like that? Okay, when did I say you couldn't do that? You don't play with bones and arrows. I don't care. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Really. Oh, you're trying to say that I can't drink great beer? Is that you're trying to suggest as well? Uh, Hey, pal. I would wonder if you'd be able to speak more clearly if your parents were second cousins instead of first. Okay, this is a little over 4 minutes already. I still haven't talked about the story. Come on, you dragging this out. Anywho, speaking of which, let's talk about the story. And let's just get into it, shall we? Oh yeah, definitely. Anywho, like I was saying, yes, in this photo, we can see Elena, aka Barbie, travels to this place filled with mermaids, of course. Though technically she's a fairy in this one, like the previous installment. And yes, that does come into play in this movie because it poses a problem. So she has to do some kind of magic thing where she could be turned into some kind of mermaid, maybe temporarily, even though despite the fact she's a fairy and whatnot. So they have to go through these challenges in some kind of way, of course. And the reason that Elena is doing this is because she wants to help out her friend, the mermaid prince. The mermaid prince has been kidnapped in an attempt to learn about the whereabouts of a special berry that will make us own somebody the most powerful fairy in this place. Even though she, of course, that might be the wrong thing to do because absolute power corrupts absolutely. So she wants to be more powerful. This villain character wants to be more powerful than any other fairy ever. Maybe more so than Enchantress, of course. It's up to Elena to stop whoever's responsible for doing bad things, of course. But the thing is that she can't do it alone. This is too crazy. It's too wide to do this kind of thing alone. However, as if this wasn't already complicated as enough as it is, it gets more difficult considering the fact that there is the headstrong mermaid who doesn't really trust outsiders because fear of the foreigner, yeah, that comes into play, I guess, to some extent. And wants nothing to do with Elena, even though Elena does need the individual's help. So she needs to win over this mermaid, which obviously is not going to be easy whatsoever, of course. So there's that going on, and yes, there's that kind of a thing within the story where Elena, she's supposed to be this really nice individual. And yeah, she's seen flying through the air in the beginning of the film, still having trouble believing that she has wings. Again, it has something to do with the fact with the first movie. She is soon sought out by this Junovile sea butterfly fairy who witnessed this prince Lena had befriended in the previous film being kidnapped by several of the goons, I guess you can say. So there was that going on. Oh, come on, we'll get to kill the world down. Are you having a conspiracy against me to stop me from bowling? I really don't care. So again, go ahead and knock yourself out if you want. Oh, come on. You trying to say that men should make baked goods like a bunch of sissies? Huh? Okay, when did I say that? No, seriously, when did I ever suggest that? I don't care for baked goods. I don't care. Do what you want. Anyway, like I said, this is the DVD I have, folks. And I thought I'd just talk about it since I've seen this not that long ago. And I've been meaning to do this anyway because, like I was saying, I did review the first installment a while back. And this actually came from Blockbuster. Yeah, that's something. Like, okay. Oh boy. I mean, it's a used copy, but still though. Oh yeah, I remember those days. When it comes to Blockbuster, just going right there. And yeah, I do have fond memories going there, getting the candy and popcorn and all that, and just tell the movie. Even though personally speaking, I prefer to buy the movie and be honest here, folks. I'm just saying though. Oh yeah, and they had the return having the VHS tapes and whatnot. So there's still a chance that this film would have been there at some point because this was the early 2000s which this movie was released. And yes, by the visuals, it does have that early 2000s uncanny visual look to it. You could kind of tell because it's not really super high end graphics in some ways. I mean, it looks okay, it looks decent enough. I'm just saying. So even this one, there's some extras behind the scenes kind of a thing. There's the widescreen. There's also the Spanish, of course. You want to switch to that for those Spanish speaking individuals. And for the that kind of thing, there's also some fun games in which you're gonna actually play in here, folks. So there's that. There's the also the trailer gallery as well, and also this thing called favorite scenes. So there's quite a bit of here you can actually look into if you want, I suppose. As for the picture quality itself, it's decent enough. Where you can get by, I guess, it's not too bad for what they're trying to do. The graphics for DVD is not too bad, I guess. So there's that. It's durable, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. Rogue Edge killer, what then? You just trying to confuse the boys so that they won't go into boxing. What are you talking about? What again? What did I say that? I never said that. You can go ahead if you want. You just want to stop me. You trying to stop people from being manly because you have something against masculinity. Is that what it is? What? Stop being stupid. Go be stupid somewhere else. I mean, really. I'm trying to wrap things up here. Ugh. I just want to wrap up the video. Like your father should have before you were even born. God. Anyway, as I was saying, this movie was produced by Mainframe Entertainment and was released by Montel in partnership with Universal Studios. So, of course, this movie stars the famous Barbie doll, and of course, she goes on this adventure, and this is definitely a direct to video sequel. And okay, this is definitely one of the better direct to video movies. I know direct to video movies that tend to have a bad reputation when it comes to these types of movies. So, at the end of the day, for all it's worth, I guess it wasn't too shabby in which they were trying to do, I suppose. And that's fine. Well, technically, this did premiere on TV, but I didn't watch this on TV when it first premiered originally, and I ended up watching this long time after the fact. So I was only able to watch this when it came into physical media years down the line. So I didn't watch this when it was originally released, by the way. So there's that. For those who don't know, so I technically didn't grow up with any of these movies, just so you know. I know the fan base really did enjoy the early Barbie movies from way back when, and I know a lot of people do have this nostalgia. There's that curse word. Ugh, the infamous word for me, nostalgia. Okay, sidetracking again. So yes, I do realize that there's quite a few people out there that has this nostalgia attachment to the early Barbie stuff. But I'm just letting you know, for those who don't know, I didn't grow up with these movies at all. It was not with none of them whatsoever. So in the grand scheme of things, I've gotten into the Barbie franchise way later in life than the vast majority of people would have. I'm just throwing it out there, folks. Just saying. Anywho, so there's that. So ultimately, this one does attempt to focus on the plot and characters, which in a lot of ways you can tell in terms of writing, the characters are fairly likable. You can tell that who's supposed to be the villain without making it seem contrived in some ways. And yes, of course, Barbie herself, or I should say Elena, is trying to do her best to be fair with everybody. And yes, she can be feminine just because she's graceful and whatnot. And understanding does not mean she's weak or anything quite obvious. You can be strong in different ways quite clearly and whatnot. So there's that, quite obviously. So you can be girly and just stylish and whatnot and not be weak. You don't necessarily have to make the characters really buff and whatnot to be strong. I seriously wish Disney would realize that because you don't necessarily have to make every single character, female character, there's some kind of warrior. You don't. Christ almighty, that is so dumb. I like Disney and all, I'm just saying. Anywho, go back to the movie is that, yes, of course, that's one of the things of being, of course, a really feminine type of character. She's supposed to be soft and whatnot, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's weak. That's something a lot of people don't seem to understand at the end of the day. It'd be sympathetic, empathetic, and all that jazz, of course. And at the same time, just because you're falling under pressure, that doesn't mean you're gonna have to fall under the fact that you're gonna lose yourself, like who am I as a person and whatnot. And you can still be yourself, even though you're in a pretty chaotic situation where you pretty much force you to make tough decisions. You can make you uncomfortable. Maybe in these kinds of situations, maybe you're supposed to be in this kind of situations as a way to show who you are as a person. Do you have what it takes to go through and whatnot? So even though things can be pretty crazy out there and whatnot, it might be uncomfortable, but hey, that's life for you. Life can be pretty damn crazy at times. But there you go, I reckon. And ultimately, I can say that this movie is he has his moments. Is what I'm saying here. He has his moments throughout the story, of course, and whatnot. But anyway, so I will recommend this for those who have not seen it as of yet because that's a pretty good story as a whole to be had here. Anyway, I'll give this an overall rating of a 7.0 out of 10. It gets a 7.0 out of 10 for me. So as always, thanks for watching and take care. See ya. Oh yeah.